ever forget our history, man.
Right.
This actually happened to blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Right.
And no matter how much America want to try and wipe their slate clean from their dirty acts, don't ever forget this, man. But also at the same time, remember this. All these things happened to blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians because we disobeyed God. You understand?
Right.
We are reading about curses. Curses that happened to the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians because we disobeyed God's law. Now, to understand the reason, there's hope in all that though. Because to understand the reason, if we got all this hell, if we're in this low condition because we disobeyed the Lord, then couldn't we get out of that if we would just follow his laws, statutes, and commandments, working diligently onto his law, man? Got that, brother, read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Serve who?
Serve thine enemies.
Serve what?
Serve thine enemies.
Not serve your friends.
Serve thine enemies.
Not serve your allies.
Serve thine
But it
enemies.
says serve your enemies, man. Come on, keep reading.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
Who set them against us?
The Lord shall send against thee.
Who?
The Lord shall send against thee.
Who set this enemy against the Lord's chosen people, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians? Who?
The Lord shall send against thee.
The Lord set this enemy against the Israelites, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. Why? Because we disobeyed him. Read.
In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So we have to serve this enemy, and then we have to go to them for what? Clean water, food, shelter, clothing, everything else. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. What is a yoke of iron? A yoke of iron is something a farmer would put across an animal's neck, a metal cross piece. You know what I'm saying? Something that they use to make an animal perform work.
Right.
Like plow a garden or push a cart. Basically, it's saying here in this verse, man, this enemy will treat you like an ox in the field. Man.
That's right.
Work you down to nothing. And then that same enemy that you serving today, you gotta take that little bit they give to you and give it right back to them.
Right.
Why? Because of want of all things. We just read that.
That's
Keep
right.
going.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he has destroyed you, black, Latino, Native Indian. You understand? We are still being destroyed today in these ghettos, barrios, and reservations, man.
Right.
Keep going. But hold up, let's find out who this enemy is that the Lord sent against us, man. Who's this instrument of our destruction?
Right.
Read.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Now hold up. He said a nation from afar, from the other side of the earth. Now, Moses says something important in his prophecy right here, man, because all this is prophecy, right, in Deuteronomy 28, that Moses predicted would happen to the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. He said something very important, give us a hint who this enemy is that the Lord sent against us, man. He said swift as the eagle flies, man. He could have easily said swift as the sparrow, swift as the falcon, but he said swift as the eagle.
Right.
Why? Because that eagle has throughout history been attached to one people on the face of the earth. The oppressor, man. You understand? From ancient Egypt all the way to the Roman Empire, to the European countries they control out there, all the way to America today. That eagle has been the symbol of the people that the Lord sent against the nation of Israel, man. Keep reading.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
And understand, we had our own language, Israel, blacks, Latinos, Native Indians. We had the Latinos Kadash, which was the holy tongue, man. The speech of God and the angels. We had that, man. Right. Read that again.
And a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
You understand? A language you would not understand. Because we had our own Hebrew, the Lashwa Kodash, man. You know what I'm saying? Way before they brought that flip-flap Spanish or that stinking English, man. We had our own language. Blacks, Latinos, and Indians.
That's right.
They forced right? How devious that was, it further divided blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. That language barrier, man. Keep reading.
Verse 50. A nation's of fierce countenance.
A nation of fierce countenance. What is a fierce countenance, man? A fierce countenance is a ferocious aggressiveness, man. This nation, the oppressor, has a ferocious aggressiveness against so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, man. Just look at their history in dealing with us, man. Come on, man. Robbing, murdering, to kill, to steal this land, the use and abuse of the slaves, and they keeping the boot on the same people they did all that too, man. A ferocious aggressiveness, like a mad dog, man. That's how they deal with the Lord's chosen people. Why? Because they were sent here to be our enemy, man. Deuteronomy 28:48 said that, man. Keep reading.
We shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young.
It don't matter your age. Hell, it don't even matter your sex and their dealings with you. Blacks, Latinos, Native Indians. Come on. Unless you've been living underneath a rock, you've seen it in the news. They take an elderly sister, slam her around. The police take an elderly sister, slam her around like a rag doll in her own house. Shoot a young brother because he got a toy gun, man. They still got our Mexican brothers and sisters sitting in cages at the border, man. Puerto Rico still ain't got no help. Ain't they supposed to be a territory of America? Come on, man. And Native Indians, good night. We mentioned it before. You don't never want to see no reservation, man. That is literal hell on earth, where women and children, women and young girls, right, get kidnapped every day. Kidnapped every day, most of them going unreported. Why? Because the fierce countenance this nation, the oppressor, has against the Lord's chosen people.
That's
You understand? Drop that, brother. Let me get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. Drop down to verse 64, man. That monster, the oppressor, has had a fierce countenance, a ferocious aggressiveness against the Lord's chosen people. Why? Because they were chosen to be our enemy, man, by the Lord. We just read that in 28:48, man. You know what I'm saying? How else do you know that? Because they don't have that same ferocious aggressiveness against any other nation of people, man. You understand? They don't have that against the Asians, against the Arabs. You understand? They don't have that against the Chinese or Japanese. Hell, the African around here can come around snapping and clicking with no fear in the world. Why? Because they are sent to be their enemies. You know what I'm saying? They passed a hate bill crime for the Chinese, but they won't do that for you, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. Why? Because they were sent to be our enemies, man. We read it right here, man. Deuteronomy 28:48. Read it for yourself. You got that from me, brother. Read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth to even unto the other.
You know what I'm saying? So God separated blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians all over the earth. Mainly here in these the North and Central South America, man, but all over the planet, man. God separated us and put us amongst other nations of people who hate us, man. Keep reading.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
And there in them strange lands, we decided to follow religions. You understand? Gods, quote unquote, of other nations, man. Nonsense like Hinduism, Buddhism, you know what I'm saying, Rastafarianism. How you gonna follow after a man who just won a couple battles, man? Come on, good night. You understand? And Kemet, how you gonna follow that nonsense, man? People eat doo-doo and whatnot. How you gonna follow that? Keep reading.
Which neither thou nor thy father have known.
You understand? These religions, none of this stuff was stuff we knew before, man. This wasn't things passed down by our forebears, man. You understand? Keep reading.
Even wood and stone.
Even wood and stone. Now again, all this is prophecy from Moses, man, written thousands of years ago. He made mention of wood and stone. So now you have to picture what he saw here in this vision, man. Wood and stone, what would that be, man? Wood, that crucifix, the Christian cross, man. He talking about Christianity there. And the stone, what would that be today? That's that big old Rita rock that they all kissing on, that dirty rock over there in the Middle East. the cobblestone.
Right.
Talk about Israel, man. Moses mentioned the two chief religions pushed on the blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, man. Mentioned right here in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64, man. Come on, man. They're saying these gods that were forced on us, man. The oppressor's God, the Arab's God. You understand? Instead of following our God, the one in true power, the God Yahweh in the Hebrew, man. You understand? Drop that, brother. Give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
That's right.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68, man. You know what I'm saying? These scriptures aren't talking about anybody else but blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, man. You understand? Because you can't hear these scriptures and think they're talking about anybody else, especially not that imposter who claims they're the Jew, man. They ain't talking about them. You don't hear these scriptures and think, oh, this is supposed to be talking about Weinstein. You can't hear these scriptures and think, oh, they're talking about Rosenberg. They're talking about Cohen. Nah, these scriptures right here, they talk about Jones. They talk about Ramirez. They talk about Hollywood, man. You understand? You got that, brother Reed.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt
from the top.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
He said, bring thee into Egypt again. Now, what is Egypt? What is he talking about? That little country sitting there in Africa? Nah, he talking about Egypt. The term comes from the word Egyptos, you understand? You see, the Greeks came and saw this so-called great empire and seen all the slavery and bondage going on over there. And they named this place that they seen Egyptos, or bondage, slavery, which exactly is what came to the word Egypt, you understand? What just means slavery and bondage. So, read it again from the top.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Bring thee into bondage, into slavery again with ships. One more time, with what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
You understand? That's the transatlantic slave trade, man. That's the transatlantic slave trade mentioned here in the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 68, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Something you couldn't run from, man. You know what I'm saying? Something your Christian pastor would never bring out. So I'm saying something that father in that Catholic church would never bring out. The so-called Latinos and Native Indians, man. Read it again, brother.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, verse 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Bring you into slavery again with ships, man. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is all prophecy written by Moses thousands of years ago, man. And he knew that we, the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Indians, would be put into slavery through a transatlantic slave trade. And get this clear. That just happened to so-called blacks. It also happened to so-called Latinos and Native Indians, man. You too were a part of that transatlantic slave trade, man. We were mostly put in the Americas and in Europe. Keep reading.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Now, what is Moses talking about here, man? The way whereof I speak unto thee, man. He's talking about the time after the Lord saved us from Pharaoh and we were wandering through the desert for 40 whole years, man. 40 years looking for a promised land, you understand? Moses himself didn't even make it there, but he prophesied of it. That land whereof he spake unto thee, we will see it no more again. Why? Because we were sent into Egypt, sent into bondage again through slavery, man, with ships, man. You know what I'm saying? We will not see that chosen, that special land again, man. We were sent into slavery again. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Sold to who?
Your enemies.
Sold to what?
Your enemies.
Now sold to your family.
Your enemies.
Sold on to your friends.
Your enemies.
Sold on to your allies.
Your enemies.
Said sold on to your enemies. Black, Latinos, and Native Indians. It had to be repeated over and over again just to get into your head, your simple head, that the ones who had you in slavery are not your friends, man. They are your enemies. Keep reading.
for bondmen and bondwomen.
For bondmen and bondwomen, for slaves, man. Keep going.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy you, or no man shall redeem you. Meaning, no man will save you, black, Latino, Native Indian, you understand? Right. No man will save you. Ain't no law enforcement, ain't no politician, ain't no so-called Christian church leader going to save you.
That's right.
The only way you can be saved from God's punishment, his curses, is to come back to his law. You got to implement it back into your life, man. That's the only way we be saved down here, man. It's not through man, you understand?
When nowadays I work hard on the job, till I come cross y'all. Still like I'm a criminal. Crime and get caught, it could be your first charge. Like, man, you ain't getting the man tomorrow. It go dip, squat, 5 mile run, push, pull, sit on, goddamn, that's wrong. Looking at my baby, trying to keep them doing wrong. It's too long before they grown, I can't leave them on their own. They killed Daddy like he had a 30-day cake. The news covering up the story for what they say. It took me back to the time we lost Otis. Pretend these crackers, they gon' tell you something bogus. And I'm thinking like, damn, what you tell the kids? We try to put up a fight, but did we fail the kids? Cause they really got us looking like no damn good. And why success got to cost my manhood?